Hey guys, it's Dave coming to you from the backyard. We call it the fireside chat, but there's no fire, so we'll just go with backyard chat again. It's gosh, it's Monday afternoon, about 5 o'clock. It's about 78 degrees, no humidity, slight breeze, bright blue sky, a little bit of clouds rolling through. It could not be more perfect to sit out here and share a cigar with you in the garden. And what a monster it is. Look at this. It's the Perdomo Reserve 10th anniversary. Ed Keach. This is one of the ones you gave me, man. I think it's I sent you a box of these and you sent me one back. So thank you very much. Maybe that's what I should do, is send people boxes of cigars that I want, and then you guys send me one back. Maybe that's the trick I'm missing. But anyway, Bill, thank you very much, man. And we're going to go ahead and light this up. I'll be back in a minute. So look how nicely that foot is toasted. Jim, I toasted the foot just to piss you off, man. Great draft. Good taste. First draw. Bill, I get it, man. Thank you very much for sending this to me. I appreciate it, buddy. So I spent my day working in the paddock. Most of my preps are spread out all over the floor in the corners and all that. And so I bought 5 huge industrial shelving units, and I've got to construct each one, and they're a pain in the butt. I've been putting them off for months. So today I pulled the stick out of my ass and got one constructed and set up, and got a second one under construction. I actually moved a bunch of my preps onto it. So my goal will be to have probably 10 sets of kind of industrial size shelving, and one will be for my preparations, and then the other will be for my tools and all my car stuff, tools, waxes, all that stuff, rags. So I have a 3-bay warehouse. The first bay is really kind of junked up with my preps right now, but that'll be the units. Though those 5 units will store all my preps. The middle unit is the paddock itself, so I try to leave that fairly uncluttered. That's where I do all my videos. That's where I do all my office work. 3 of the cars sit in there. The race simulator rig sits in there. My freezer sit in there, and then the third unit is really just more cars, and that's where I'll put all my car stuff. So hopefully over the next month I'll get more organized. I got to work it out with my next trip to Wyoming and all that, but I got tired of looking at it every time I came in and saying to myself, hey, you got to get on that. So today I actually started doing it, but it's a horrible task. It's just one of those tasks. I know you've got them, that they're important and they're on your list, but they never make it to number 1. They never make it to, that's the one I'm going to do today. So that shitty task made it to number 1. I said, I just got to get it started. So, and then as always, once I got rolling, it wasn't that bad. It was very fulfilling. So I think we'll do some more tomorrow. I always teach people who come to me for mentoring support, always do the thing you want to do least first. And I've been breaking my own rule. That thing I wanted to put those shows up least for the last 2 months probably. And I just didn't follow my own rules. So today I said, I'm doing the thing I want to do least first. So that's such a critical way to get your day started the right way, by the way. It's just get in there and bang that piece of shit action item that you just don't want to do. Burn that down first. The rest of your day look gold after that. So I know fireside chats are a big part of the channel here in Maryland and in Wyoming. And tomorrow, we're getting the chimney swept. We haven't had it swept in 3 or 4 years, so it's time. So that'll be done tomorrow. But a couple of you asked, do I get my chimney swept or swept? And yeah, I do. I just I don't do it every year, but I talked to the people when we scheduled it for tomorrow, and they said they really do kind of recommend an annual at least check. So I'm signing up for the annual program. So for those of you who are worried about my chimney, Maryland will be done tomorrow and be on an annual plan. And when I get back out to Wyoming, I will get that scheduled. No one likes to come out to my house in the wintertime. So when I get back out there, I'll call and get that scheduled. I'll bring that up. I always tell you guys everything anyway. But we'll get Wyoming chimney swept. Now, I'm only on the house 2.5 years, and I know it was swept as part of the sale. So I know it's actually pretty good. 2.5 years is not that long, especially I'm not out there that much. Um, but it's time. We'll get it done. Here in Maryland, we only light fires. I mean, our falls have gotten warmer, so I don't really start fires until late October. And then we only burn fires. We pretty much burn fires every night from late October until the day after Thanksgiving. And then we put the tree up the Friday after Thanksgiving. And even though it's a fake tree, we don't burn a fire in the fireplace with the tree up. So pretty much the month of December, we don't have fires. And then January, February, March, we do. But I'm only here about half that time. The rest of them in Wyoming. So it might seem like we have a lot of fires, but we really don't, over the course of a calendar year. But that's why I'm not too worried about it being 4 or 5 years. But all that being said, tomorrow gets clean and we go on an annual plan, and then we'll do the same for Wyoming House. So that should clear up the chimney sweep situation. And then today being Monday was lawn mowing day, so we have 6 acres here, and about 4 of it needs to be mowed. So I was able to get the entire lawn mowed today. More properly said, I was able to have the lawn mowed today. I mowed it. We've been here 28 years. I mowed it for the first 20 in the last 8 years or so. I punted. I'm like, what are you doing? So I have somebody, I have a lawn service that comes in and takes care of us. But we're first on their dance card every Monday morning. They get here about 7:30, and they're gone by 9 a.m. every Monday. So it's just nice. Lawn's perfectly mowed. You can see a little bit of it back here. They do a great job mowing, weed whacking, and then every couple of weeks they that you can see some longer stuff back there. That's the fringe between my yard and the woods, and they come by a couple times a year and cut that down so it doesn't encroach back on the yard. But anyway, it's kind of nice. It's all done. It's a great place to sit right now. So the stick is pretty robust. It's definitely on the heavy medium side, or light bold side, depending on I don't know how you guys do that. The retro house is a little rough. You got to be gentle and smooth on it. I just burnt this crap out of myself in the retro. But it's a fine smoke. Burns great. Tastes good. I get it, Bill. I get it. So a lot of you asked about Mother's Day yesterday. So in my life, Mother's Day yesterday was a really good example of Mother's Day. That was for my wife, Anne-Marie, my daughter, Lauren, my wife's mom, Janice, my wife's sister, Janice, and my wife's sister's daughter, Caroline. 5 women in my life, and I'm the only man. There's no role in yesterday for me. So they had the day. They did whatever they wanted. They did it together. They had a great day, and I lived in the paddock. I turned 60, and with some age comes some intelligence. Yeah, I don't get too involved in Mother's Day. That's for the ladies. My wife did call Anne-Marie, said Happy Mother's Day from Denver. So he checked that box, and I had the day to myself, and they had a ball. So it was a good day all the way around, and I had no involvement in it, which is perfect. So guys, a little earlier today, I put up that response to Paul Gilson. He asked a really good question. He'd been invited to join TeamFreedom by Mark Welsh Piper, and he had some questions like, what is it? And almost 24 hours later, I hadn't seen any response to him. So I put up that little video, that little 4, 5, 6 minute video, just me talking to Paul, hopefully answering some of his questions. And I got a lot of great comments back, but I got sort of I got one of the most well-written critical responses I've seen in a long time. The guy was really supportive. I mean, it's out there as a comment. I mean, he made it on the channel, so I'm not speaking out of school. But he was sort of taking a little bit of difference with how Team Freedom is viewed by outside the fishbowl, and how I come across, as the basis for why I say what I say. And I thought it was a really well written comment, and it's that other side of the discussion that in YouTube so rarely happens. Usually, it's written in such a caustic manner you just have to delete the comment. And he wrote it really intelligently and quite compassionately. And I just want to say kudos to it. And there, the two factors I want to talk about, kind of in response to that comment, are how the YTP, how the Team Freedom is perceived, maybe by people outside the team, and then how I'm perceived as what the basis for my comments are. So I'm gonna talk about those two aspects next. I just did a couple of light retro howls, and it's actually quite fantastic on the retro howl. I was chooching it, or I was just shoving at retro howl out too quickly. But when you retro howl lightly, the cigar comes across great. Yeah, that's super. All right, so the first half of the comment that I wish to address is, it appears from outside the team, outside Team Freedom looking in, that it is essentially used as a way to get the mega people, the mega death, the Trumpsters, fired up in an election year. And yeah, wow, I had not thought of that. Um, I'm sure there are members of Team Freedom that's what they desire. They desire to fire up the far right and use their channels and use their membership in that Team Freedom to do exactly that. And I have to say, I have to support that. Um, I don't support it, but I support their right to use their channel and their membership in the team to express those opinions. And I hope people don't come on and go, Trump good, Biden sucks. That's not very helpful. But if someone uses their channel to do that, I have to stand back and say I support their right, their privilege to do that. Just as if somebody comes on and says and uses their YouTube channel and their membership in Team Freedom to say the current administration is the best administration we've seen in the history of the presidency, and that the direction of the country that we are currently on is the right one. Although I would disagree with that, I would have to stand back and support their ability, their freedom, their choice, their right, their privilege to use their channel and their membership to present such a position. I'll tell you, the membership of Team Freedom goes far beyond that at this point. I can tell you, Jonathan in the UK doesn't share those views either way. Mark Welsh Piper doesn't share those views either way. Pipe Monkey Gary, he doesn't support those things. We have members in Cyprus, we have members in Hungary, we have members all over who I don't think support either side of that argument. So I don't think they'll use the team for that kind of thing. I only say that because maybe the vocal ones are the ones you watch are the Megadeth people and just love Trump and want to use their channel for that. But I'm telling you, I don't think the majority of Team Freedom is about that. But I totally respect the observation, and I totally respect that you observe that and type that in a manner that I can talk about and respond to you in a hopefully a non-emotional way. I also talk like this knowing full well that me trying to defend Team Freedom as a member, and me trying to say, well, it's not all MAGA, it's not all Trump, it's not all Biden, it's not all politics. It's sort of like driving the nail deeper into the coffin. I mean, I get that. The more I think thou dost protest too much, can come into play here. So I'm not trying to change anyone's views. I'm not trying to change anyone's opinions. I'm just trying to express that there are a lot of views out there that are represented inside the team, that sometimes don't get expressed as loudly or as often, maybe as the ones you're seeing on the channel. Because the team really is set up for you or anyone to air their views and feel comfortable doing that and feel supported doing that, and whether you're pro-Trump or pro-Biden or pro-libertarian or anti-politics, the team needs to stand ready, and each member needs to stand ready to support the person's right to express those opinions. No matter how much someone might disagree with that opinion, it should be allowed to be aired and stand and be commented on and discussed, hopefully with respect. But I get it. I get it. The more I talk about it, the worse I make it, probably. For me, it's just a matter of, do we have a place where people can express their opinions, whether they're popular or not? Because a lot of our society worldwide now is shut down conversation. And if your position or your belief or your video or your comment goes against what society has decided needs to be the position, you get shut down. And I'm involved in this team really to create as much as possible, because we're still on the YouTube platform, we're still on the Facebook platform. But can we create an environment where people will talk both sides or all sides of an issue, and do so knowing they're not going to get deleted or tomahawked, and that they'll be treated with respect? That's why I'm in it. That's what I'm trying to do. I am not in it to get Trump reelected. I'm not in it to defeat Biden. Um, I'm in it to say I love the U.S. I'm proud to be an American. I'm not happy with the direction of the country. I'm not entirely sure who gets elected this fall will change the direction of the country. I've said that many times. I've said, for you Trumpers out there, even if he were to win, I'm not entirely sure the direction of the country is going to change a whole lot. There is no single man savior for our political system. If we do wish to turn it back towards the middle and back towards some of the older values we saw in the United States, turn the country back to some of the founding fathers' beliefs, take decades. It'll take many elections at many levels. The election of one individual will not accomplish that. I stand on that. I bang that drum all the time, and I say it here as part of my response. So, but your comment was great, and it was accurate. And to some extent, there's nothing I or anybody can do about it, because people will use their platform and their membership in any way they choose, and I stand in support of them doing that. Hopefully people who are outside the team looking in on the team will see there are many different views and many different opinions, many different subjects, and that is not set up to influence or swing an election. Some people may use it for that, but I don't believe that's why the team is here, and I don't believe that's why the majority of people participate in it. I could be wrong, but those are my beliefs. I wanted to get to your comment directly on that one. I really respect your comment. So the second part of the comment that I wanted to address is the basis, the foundation upon which I operate from in life, on YouTube, in my videos, in my comments, in my topics. So I'm going to have to ask you to allow me to go for a swim in Lake Me for a few minutes. So the comment, paraphrase because I don't remember the exact words, was basically that you saw my videos, my positions, my conversation to be coming from a position of paranoia or fear. And you found that kind of ironic given that we're talking about team freedom. It was a damn good comment, by the way. Great second half of the comment. Because what you're talking about is how you perceive me, and probably not just you, others have made the same comment. I've heard it quite a bit that I seem to be coming from this position of great fear. And so your comment saying paranoia and fear was kind of dead on accurate to, or at least very consistent with other people. So I just wanted to address why I comment things the way I comment things in my background, because I'm not going to sit here and try to argue the point that I'm paranoid or not paranoid, or I am fearful or not fearful, and I'm not trying to change yours or anybody else's opinion about where I come from, because I may actually drive the nail further into the coffin with this part of the conversation. And I do that, I do the rest of this conversation knowing that. And I actually may make your point. I may make your case. I may have to say, you know what? I do come from a position of paranoia and fear. Um, but I move on to the next part of my conversation with you knowing that. So I've made no notes. I've done no preparatory work for this part of the conversation. So bear with me. It might get a little messy. It might get a little muddled up. It's going to be basically a stream of consciousness. I'll do my best to organize it so I don't bore or confuse the hell out of you or make it seem like I'm trying to obfuscate my answer. I'm a recovering politician, so sometimes we answer the question that we wish you'd asked, or we talk and talk until you forget the question you answered or asked. I'm going to try not to do either of those. So I come from an IT background. I graduated in 1986 with a computer science degree, and I spent the next 33 years kind of in the IT world. And what that meant for the first several years, from 86 to 94, spent 8 years serving various entities as an employee. But I usually was deployed as a troubled account representative. And so I saw things go wrong in the IT world for 8 years. I'm going to stop my explanation for a minute. I'm going to talk to you for a minute about historians lots of times talk about the tiger in the bush scenario or syndrome with human evolution. If you hear a noise in the bush, like our ancestors, if they heard a noise in the bush, those who assumed it was a tiger and ran survived, and those who assumed it was just a noise in the bush, sometimes they survived, but lots of times they got ate by the tiger that was in the bush. And I think that's kind of where I am. I hear things in the world, so I'll call those the not noises in the bush. I assume it's a tiger, and lots of times it's not. Sometimes it is. I feel I am better ready to survive life if I assume it's a tiger I'm hearing and not a possum. So it's kind of maybe sound like stupid, but look it up, tiger in the bush. Um, I just want to say that because it does kind of drive most of my belief systems. So I spent a number of years, 8 years, learning through various different, really 4 or 5 different companies as an employee, how wrong IT can go, how wrong IT can be used. And so that started my jaundicing. And then in 94, I started my own company. And I really spent from September 1994 until January of 2019 working in the darkest sides of our government. Most of it was under the IT guys, but a lot of it was some dark operational stuff. And so I've seen with my eyes how things can be presented for good and used for bad. And I soaked in that. I steeped in that. I marinated in that world for 30 years. And so I think I don't perceive it as paranoia. I don't perceive it as fear. I perceive it as there's a cone of options of what's in front of us in our future, from Mad Max to utopia. And I feel like most people live in the good half of that. They like, well, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to get worse, things are going to get better as life goes on. Some people live in the extreme. We're going Mad Max, and you need to go live on need to go live in a plantation, or and cut off all things from the modern world. And I choose to bring the cone in a little bit and be ready for as wide a spectrum as I can be ready for. I don't spend most of my life worrying. I've spent years prepping, and I feel my preps are in place, and I get to walk around in yellow state. I'm kind of careful where I park my car. I'm careful to make sure I'm armed. And if that's perceived as you know as bad or fear, I can't change that. I mean, because I'm not going to change how I behave. But I spend most of my days enjoying nature, enjoying the Wyoming wildlife, enjoying my family, enjoying my day-to-day life, enjoying my paddock, enjoying my cars. Yeah, that's hard to make videos about, mainly because most of my friends and family want nothing to do with being on video, by the way. But and a lot of it's boring. Putting up shelving. I'm not going to do a video about putting up shelving. Um, I'm not going to do a video about me, you know, enjoying out here, except for this video. I'm not going to show you how much I do it. I'm not going to show you the hour and a half coffee with my wife, where we talk about life and great things together. That's boring as hell. And so, yeah, I put up Freedom Friday videos, weapons videos, ammunition videos, blade videos. I do that partially because there's an entertainment value to it, and there's an education value to it as well. I served the Weapons of Mass Destruction Directorate. I served the National Gang Intelligence Center. We rebuilt the DNA matching system. We rebuilt the 10 print system. We responded to the 9/11, the Webster Commission, trying to divide up some of the government entities I worked for, particularly FBI. I've seen what the darkest side of our society can do, and so that's probably jaundiced me. But I promise you, I don't walk around living in that state. I'm aware of it, and I'm ready for some of the more negative options that could come at us in our future. But I'm also ready for some of the more positive ones. So I don't live on the dark side. Maybe my videos make it seem like that, or maybe people perceive being prepared as living on the negative or the paranoid side. I consider it unwise to live on the positive side without any consideration of the negative options in our future. I consider it stupid and unsocial and unwise to live on the negative side with no concept or preparation for, hey, maybe nothing will happen. I told you this was going to be rambling. The other thing I've probably not done a very good job of explaining is some of the things I've done under the guise of prepping for the more dark side are things that, really do sweeten my life. So I talk about having a bug out location, and a place to go. But guys, it's in the middle of Grand Teton National Park. It's in a log home that couldn't be built today. It's on a piece of property that looks straight down Pacific Creek to the Grand Tetons. It's the greatest place on earth for me to own a home. So yeah, it's my bug out location, but forget that. it's a privilege to own it. It's literally one in a million. It might be more than that. It might be one in a billion places. The lot will never come around again. The ability to build a home inside a national park will never happen again. The home itself is built on old growth logs that you couldn't harvest today. I mean, it's just a wonderful place to own. It's a great place to see. My family has summer retreats there. I meet my son there. I take his dog there for a month at a time. So, though, in one video, I do, in fact, call it my bug out location because it is my bug out location. But if that's never become necessary, thank God. I mean, I didn't buy it because it's a bunker. I bought it because it's in the middle of the wilderness in the Rocky Mountains at 8,000 feet up. And I absolutely love being there. So that might be something I haven't done a very good job discussing. The other thing is my weapons. I'm a weapons guy. I have been since I was a little kid. My dad took me out shooting. I can't even remember learning to shoot. And so ownership of weapons is something I enjoy. I enjoy going to the indoor range. I enjoy going to the outdoor range. I enjoy cleaning my guns. I enjoy making sure they're operational. I enjoy learning about weaponry. So that might come from a position of paranoia, but I love it. And so owning the arsenals I do and the weapons I do is fun. I enjoy it. So I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's good to have it for prep, but I own way more than any family needs for prep. Um, I own those things because I enjoy owning them. I enjoy using them. I enjoy cleaning them. I enjoy the conversations around them. So so again, it just might be me describing it poorly or me not seeing a blind spot in me that, yeah, I do all this because I'm paranoid and scared. But I got to tell you, in here, it doesn't feel paranoid. It doesn't feel scared. Those are two emotions that I don't feel inside me. Could be a blind spot. It could be that I'm pathological and I don't have the ability to feel those things, but I don't think so. So even my second bug out location, which I haven't talked about a whole lot, right? But I talked about having an out of the United States, an Oconus location in case things went really pear-shaped here. You know, I think it's a good choice. I think Grand Cayman is a good option. It's maybe not the best. There are going to be issues with it. But let's say nothing happens and I own, you know, a house with a guest house and a pool on 1,000 feet of Caribbean beachfront. That doesn't sound paranoid to me. We go there once or twice a year. We love it. We bought it down there. We bought down there because we go down there, and my entire family said we could see this happening. So that's another example. Maybe I did a poor job discussing it, but so it gives me a secondary bug out location, but that is its secondary purpose. Its primary purpose is I had money to invest. I invested it in real estate and a lot of it in the United States, and I wanted to do something offshore. My family said, "Hey, how about Grand Cayman?" And so we bought a Grand Cayman house. Again, that does not feel like fear or paranoia in me. Um, both these other houses are places my kids hope I don't sell so they can inherit and use them in their adult life. So they fulfill dual roles, and most of what I do, I try to have fulfill multiple roles. I spent the last 3 years racing with McLaren. That doesn't sound like a guy who lives in fear. Um, I was out doing stupid shit in a race car on racetracks for 3 years. For 2 years before that, I drag raced. It doesn't. And I didn't live in fear. I went out and had fun. 5 years in a row of fear. I mean, of fun. And before I retired, I did track days for 3 years. So I just don't see how that translates into a guy living in paranoia and fear. But maybe I don't protest too much, and I lived it in fear and paranoia so long I don't even feel it anymore. I think I'll cap this all off with I feel like I have a great life. I have a great relationship with my wife. I have a great relationship with my 2 adult kids. Um, I'm prepared for just about any option out there. And, I don't feel burdened by it. I love my life. I've asked you guys that in prior videos. Do you love your life? I love my life. It's a little slow at times now. I'm used to a much busier pace, but it really is a first world problem. But I'll end this part of the video with, I still respect the comment. I respect that you made it. I respect that you had the observations that you did, and I respect how you typed it in to the comment. And I hope we can have a conversation. I'm not sitting here going, well, this is it, and you better not comment again. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you a real response. And I think multiple people will be, one, entertained to hear it. You mentioned being entertained by the videos, and that's powerful for me. If I'm not educational but I'm entertaining, I'm okay with that. If I can be both, if I can be edutainment, I'm good with that. Anyway, nice job on the comment. Thank you for making it. You made this video possible with it. Bill, fantastic stick, dude. Now I know why they're one of your favorites. Very nice stick. So guys, I hope this is a good example of the gap. I hope this is a good example of me practicing what I preach in the last, how many times have I mentioned the gap this year? The comment came in a few hours ago. I stopped, read it. I really read it. I closed it. I came home from the paddock, smoked my cigar, and said, you know what? I think a response can be good here. I think a response can be positive. I think a response can be additive. I think a response can be compassionate, and hopefully allow room for continued conversation, either on this comment, on this video, on the video that I did for Paul, or on future. I'm hoping the way I've chosen to respond to this comment in this situation is positive and a good example of what I'm talking about. Is how do I wish to be viewed? How do I wish to be perceived? And how does that change the way I wish to respond to this, in particular, this comment? Smoking a great cigar while you think about it and make the response helps a lot, by the way. So maybe that should be the rule. You can't respond to a comment unless you have a great stick in your mouth. Something in this portion of the video was saying, if you'd like a badge, just send me your mailing address and I'll send you it. That'd probably be the one I send out with the most pride. Doesn't mean you have to believe what everybody in the team presents just because you have a badge. But I'd love to send you one. Let me know. Well, guys, look, I'm pretty much got the cigar in me, and boy, do I feel good right now. Even more perfect than when we started. It's probably dropped 5 degrees, still a slight breeze. I'm in the middle of my wife's unbelievable garden. I had a great smoke from a good friend. Man, it feels good. You guys try not to hide behind it's hard to start. If you're all bent towards being a Christian or having a relationship with God or Jesus, please start. I don't know how to start reading the Bible. It's pretty easy. Read Proverbs. We read 1 chapter of Proverbs a day. Pretty easy. There's 30. Just start there. Just do that for the next month. Read 1 Proverbs a day. Don't try to solve all the problems. Don't wait till all the traffic lights are green to start your journey. Please do not wait until you need the help of Jesus and God in your life to begin to develop a relationship. I know I harp on this a lot, but I got my cigar in me and I feel good, so I just want to say it out loud. Please don't put yourself in a position where you really need divine influence in your life. And the answer is, I don't know you. Don't do that to yourself. God will get behind you, but you can't wait for him to start it. He will not start it, in my opinion. God will move a mountain for you, but you better bring a shovel. That is one of my favorite sayings. I'm worried that some of you haven't picked up the shovel yet. Sounds judgmental, doesn't it? Even preachy. I've got things I'm waiting for God to decide. Is he going to bless me with a miracle? Is he going to bless me with a yes to my prayer? Or am I going to have to have to ask him for the strength to deal with his no? Because God does answer prayers with no. God can answer prayers with silence, which is essentially no, right? No response is a response. So my prayer sometimes is not to make my life easy, but to give me the strength to get through what he's challenging me with. And I have some of those right now. So I'm praying for the miracle and the strength to deal with whatever his answer is. And I don't know what the answer is going to be. So with that, I'm going to say, may God bless you, and may he bless your family, those close to you, those surround you, those who depend on you. May God turn his ear towards your prayer, and that means you're saying a prayer. Potter Piper's teaching me sometimes prayer doesn't mean you just sit there and babble at God. Sometimes you just sit there and be contemplative. Sometimes you sit there and be meditative. The saying I've heard sometimes is prayer is when we talk to God and meditation is when we listen. So maybe you should listen instead of talk. But my God, do something. May God make his face shine upon you and those around you. May God bless your life as he continues to bless mine. Guys, have a great Monday night. I hope you had a good Monday. I hope you've got a good week planned in front of you. I hope you're not just sitting there like a catcher in a baseball game waiting for life to pitch at you. That is no way to live. You need to make life happen. Get out there with your shovel, guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.